First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Dupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today. Amoga Pasa Avalokiteswara. Semu Tamsen Kato Tutan City. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? Aisteru Sarangi. Hola, amigo. Sukoyin. Ichiban.
Konnichiwa.
I would like to announce for next Sunday, October 18th, at 3 p.m. there will be Mahabala Homa fire offering ceremony. Mahabala. This deity is one of the major protectors of True Buddha school. One is Mahabala, the other one is Marichi. So Mahabala is a great protector, and his heart mantra, and this is the mantra to expel or prohibit ghosts. And the mudra is Subjugation Mudra. It's very easy to visualize because at our Homa hall here, this deity is Mahabala.
Next week, after 3 p.m. So many power doje fire offering ceremony. 那么我们今天呢是做不空坚守观音。
Today we had
坚守观音的父母。
the Homa of Amoghapasa Avalokitesvara. Typically, there are always many primary supplicants because there are 2 points. One is non-empty and the other one is lasso. And he's also the Vajra of equal deliverance, which means he would equally deliver to the Buddha land of the western realm of utmost bliss. That's why the Vajra name is the Vajra of equal deliverance. Equal deliverance means as long as you pray to him, he would deliver you. It doesn't matter who. When it is equal, it does not matter which kind they are. It would be delivered equally. So that's equality. And he has 4 arms, 3 faces, 4 hands, 3 faces, 4 arms, and one of the hands is holding mala or chanting beads. So by calling upon his name, he will deliver. The other hand is holding a lotus blossom. And one hand is holding the purifying nectar vase. He is able to purify all karma and transgressions and sins. And one more hand is holding a lasso that he can bind. Whatever you pray for, he will bind it for you. Bind whatever you ask for to you. And if you don't go to the western realm of the Pure Land, he could also tie you, bind you, and send you there. Therefore, it's the Amoghapasa Avalokitesvara with equal deliverance. In the womb mandala, there is a quarter specifically for him. He's one of the 7 great Avalokitesvara or Kuan Yin Bodhisattvas. And at the beginning of a Dharma teaching, let me share a joke to start with. A lady went to meet the great master and asked, "Great master, why does my husband cheat on me?" And the great master said, "Please eat this piece of cake first." And the lady ate that piece of cake. And the master asked, "Is it good? Was it good?" And she replied, "It's very good." And the great master asked again,
这整个一个圆形的蛋糕，除了你吃的那一块以外，其他全部都吃了。
The whole round piece of cake, can you eat them all? Other than the piece of cake that you already ate? And the lady replied, no problem, I can eat them all. And the master replied, now you know why your husband cheated on you. And the lady said, oh, I know. Because human beings are always so greedy, they are never content. And the master replied, you don't understand anything. In Chinese, it's a little bit of a curse. It's because you eat so much, you're so fat. That's why your husband cheated on you. There are many things that the problem is not at other people, it's at yourself. So any event, anything that happens, you should think about yourself first, or your own shortcoming. It's not necessarily other people's problems. Sometimes it's our own problem. That's why you want to reflect upon yourself. In Buddha Dharma too, we cannot blame on other people all the time. You can't always blame the heaven and the earth and other people. You should blame it on yourself. Actually, a lot of things happen because of yourself and not because of other people. Now, you want to do the question and answer. It's asked by Lianhua Dingkun from China. Grandmaster, peace with you. Grandmaster once thought, in order to gain spiritual union with the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, one has to regard their minds as your mind, their vows as your vows. For example, in order to gain spiritual union with the White Robe Master or Guan Yin, the key point is on the compassion, having compassionate heart, alleviating suffering upon hearing them. Then one's mind is the mind of the White Robe Master. When the practitioner practices according to the procedure every day, eventually it will result in spiritual union. My question is, what is the mind of the Root Guru Yoga? I am practicing the Root Guru Yoga and able to visualize a union with Grandmaster, but I found out recently that I'm missing a little something. It's always been hard to touch the heart of the Root Guru, Patma Kumara. and unable to completely gain true spiritual union. So, Grandmaster, your heart mind amidst the Root Guru Yoga, its most secret, this little something. What is it? How should I practice so that I can gain spiritual union? Thank you so much for your compassionate teaching. So he's asking, what is Grandmaster's heart or mind? I have said before, for the lotus youth of Patma Kumara, the term youth also means the great master. Which is the lotus master, great master lotus. And what are the vows of Patma Kumara? Many vows. And one of them is never to forsake any single sentient being. It's the vow of Patma Kumara. And delivering sentient beings even at the cost of my body and life. Thinking about it, in order to gain spiritual union with Patma Kumara, you cannot forsake any single sentient being, and you have to deliver sentient beings at the cost of your body and your life. That's the heart mind of Grandmaster Lu. Think about it. Mull over it. Saturdays and Sundays are resting days for people. Are resting days. Saturdays and Sundays are days off for most people. And look at how Grandmaster gives Dharma teachings from his youth until now. Did I ever take a break? Even when I was sick with cellulitis, I was in the hospital. I was hospitalized. And on Saturday, I got out of the hospital and went to the Taiwan Lichang Temple and gave Dharma teaching. And during the empowerment, I could not stand. They placed a chair in front of the altar and lift my leg and give the empowerment and blessing one by one. Give the blessing on the head one by one. With cellulitis, you cannot stand on it, on your leg. And yet, you still went to Taiwan Temple. And during the blessings on the head, I still had to place my leg on the bench and giving the blessing on the head that way. Ever since I was young until now, did I ever take one day off for the ceremonies. Any scheduled ceremonies were never missed even once. I told Simo, I should have retired long ago. If I'm a public officer, I would have retired long ago.
How old are you? 我的年龄是我的秘密。
How old are you? My age is my secret.
其实大家都知道，是我的秘密。
Actually, everybody knows, although it's my secret. I should have retired long ago.
当和尚没有退休。
But as a monk, there is no retirement.
我跟孙母讲，只能够做到。
I told Simu, I will continue to do it, to work until I'm unable to do it anymore. I will continue to write until I'm not able to write anymore. I will still deliver sentient beings until I'm unable to do it. The masters can take a break, and the reference too. If they don't have a good night's sleep, they take a day off. If you're sick, they take a day off. And if they have something important, of course, they take a day off. Or if they're really busy, they also take a day off. Everybody can take a day off, take a break. Only Grandmaster Lu cannot take a break. Even when my throat is itching, you still cannot take a day off, cannot take a break. As long as you're still able to speak, then you should speak. Never to forsake any single being. As Grandmaster has said before, doesn't matter what kind of person you are. Even if you have committed sins or had violated grave transgressions, as long as you repent and you come back, I will hug you. Whether you're a beautiful lady or you're an ugly person, or the sister of the precept pig, could she be beautiful? I will hug you all the same. Never forsaking any single being. That's responsibilities. Like writing articles. Every time I finish a book, I have completed book number 281. I will take a few days off, thinking about what my next book will be about. The title has been set. Then I will write the title. Book number 282. The title.
遇见达摩祖师
Meeting the Master Bodhidharma.
第282册
Book number 282. Meeting the Great Master Bodhidharma.
为什么遇见达摩祖师？
Why
师尊呢，在上个礼拜
am I meeting Bodhidharma, the Great Master? Last week, Great Master
10月10号
painted a painting of Bodhidharma.
10月1号开始画。
On October 1st, I started to paint Bodhidharma.
10月1号开始画达摩祖师，
Bodhidharma.
画一张
I painted one.
印尼的莲祖上师亲走，
Then Master Lianzu from Indonesia
第2张的莲生
requested one.
亲走，
And the second
第
painting,
3张的达摩祖
it was requested by Master Lian Seng.
师亲走，
And then I painted the third painting. It was requested by Master Lian Man. And the fourth painting was also requested by Master Lian Chuan.
连满先请，再来
First Master Lian Man, and the fourth painting by Master Lian Chuan.
第5张
And the fifth painting,
是莲林法师吧，
it was requested by
这监验法师，
the Venerable Lian Ling,
然后再来
the superintendent of the
第
temple.
7张、
And the third, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth.
第8张是哪一位请走的？
Who requested the eighth painting?
不是吧？第9张是莲云法师，
The ninth painting was by the Venerable Lian Yun. And the 10th,
是利益法师要请走。
I haven't started painting it, but already requested by the Venerable Lili.
所以达摩呢，
Because I painted too many Bodhidharma, that's why Bodhidharma appeared.
你看我就是这样子在做，
So I work like this.
画了10张，
I painted 10 paintings of Bodhidharma. I will paint the 10th one tomorrow
都是达摩。
because I was so focused in painting Bodhidharma. My whole
把我带到月
mind was filled with Bodhidharma. Therefore, Bodhidharma appeared and he brought me to a cave
所有的法付给我，
and transmitted all the Zen Buddhist Dharma, the Zen Buddha Dharma to me.
这个就是什么？这个就是
Then what is this?
卢师尊的精神所在。
That's the spirit of Grandmaster Lu.
所以你要相应。
So, in order to gain spiritual response with Patma Kumara, this is the heart mind of Grandmaster Lu.
你就会相应。
Once you embrace this secret, then you would gain spiritual union. That's asked by Lian Hua Ting Kun. And this is asked by Lian Hua Qing Qing. First, thank you, Grandmaster, for turning the Dharma wheel. Vows of some deities are recorded in the sutras, so practitioners can follow them
根本尊
and make the same vows as
修持
the deities.
本尊法的真佛弟子们，
How about true Buddha disciples who are practicing Golden Mother deity yoga?
的誓愿
What are Golden Mother's vows? Grandmaster, please advise.
誓愿是什么？
What are Golden Mother's vows? Thank you.
莲花清清哦，这个瑶池金母的誓愿，在她的
莲花清清。
里面有。
Golden Mother's vows exist in her several sutras. Golden Mother's sutra of nourishing the young, and Golden Mother's Jietuo Souyan Zeng Jing, and Golden Mother's sutras of Souyan Jietuo Zeng Jing, the Liberation Sutra. So, why don't you read Golden Mother Sutras carefully? In the Golden Mother Sutra of realization, liberation through meditation and contemplation, and also the other Golden Mother Sutra. Several of Golden Mother Sutras contain them. If you still cannot find them, please ask again. Taiwan Lianhua Xianting. Beloved Grandmaster, peace be with you. I have some puzzling questions. Please be kind to answer them. 1. In the fifth instructions of a deity yoga or yidam practice, Grandmaster, you mentioned a practitioner's body, speech, and mind should completely match those of the deity, which means that a practitioner has to completely purify his or her body, speech, and mind in order to gain spiritual union with the yidam. My question is, other than the empowerment of the three lights by the yidam to purify the body, speech, and mind during the daily Dharma practice, is there another way? Are there other ways? How about in daily life? Is there anything we can do to purify the body, speech, and mind? This was the first question. Pure body, speech, and mind. In our tantric practices, the most important thing is the pure body, speech, and mind. What are the methods to purify our body, speech, and mind? What did you say? Who spoke earlier? Master Lianman. Practice the 37 qualities to support enlightenment. I will just say a little bit, because 37 qualities just too many. And yesterday, the 37 offerings made me speak for an hour and 20 minutes. When I got home, Golden Mother told me, the 37 offerings, how do you practice them? Golden Mother said, in the Tibetan grand ceremony once a year, there are many artists and crafts, and those skilled artists would sculpt 37 offerings. So they would sculpt or form the 37 offerings. Doma, we call them doma. So they would need, like, from clay, 37 kinds of offerings. So the person interested in 37 offerings, then you can attend that annual grand Tibetan ceremony and took pictures of those 37 offering items. And then when you get home, you visualize those 37 offerings to become like lights and entering. The lights shoot into the mandala plates. They would be like the mandala or the offering clouds entering into the mandala plates. And then from the mandala plates, they transform to become offering clouds, thousands of them in the whole sky. So from 37 kinds of visualizations entering into the pile of rice inside the mandala offerings, or the jewels on the mandala plates, and they go in as streams of lights. Then they become like offering clouds from the mandala plates to fill the whole cloud, the whole sky. Those are the 37 offerings. Now, the body, speech, and mind, you have to practice the 37 qualities to support the enlightenment path, because it's too long. It'll take 2 hours to explain. So the way is you often visualize your body to be the body of the yidam. What you say with your mouth would all be related to the Buddha Dharma. Then your speech would be purified. You often visualize that your body is the body of the yidam, then your body is purified. You often visualize that what you say is Buddha Dharma, then your speech would be purified. And in your mind, you frequently or always that your mind is never separate from the yidam. That means your mind is purified and the speech is Buddha Dharma, then your speech is purified and your body is the yidam, so the body is purified. You have to often be mindful of your yidam, then your mind would be purified. That's why you cannot have a very dirty thoughts or yucky mind. That's purifying the mind. And for the speech, don't say nonsense thing or lies or double tongue or evil words. You cannot say curse like Yam and the good. You cannot say bad words, evil words. Although it may make you feel good cursing, but you should not. You cannot be double tongue, which is sowing discord. Like, you should not say behind my back that Grandmaster Lu is this and that and that. That's sowing discords, that A is like this, and B is like that, and C is like that. Those are bad talks. Then you're far from the yidam. Your speech is not pure. But whatever you say comply to the Buddha Dharma, then your speech is purified. You don't always have to chant mantra. Of course, when you chant mantra, that's the most pure. But when you don't chant mantra, whatever you say is Buddha Dharma. And for the body, you want to visualize the yidam very clearly, and your body is the body of the yidam. So pure body, speech and mind. That's extremely important. The first question. In daily life, you are able to purify your body, speech and mind. Like sometimes Grandmaster wants to scold someone, Amitabha. Although I'm scolding, but I'm chanting Amitabha. How can you do that, Amitabha? And then you're also chanting Amitabha. Every time you open your mouth, you say Amitabha. When I get up in the morning and I get to the kitchen and I see Simu and Master Lien Yi, and they would say, "Good morning, Grandmaster," and I would say Amitabha. See, my first statement is Amitabha, morning. So I added Amitabha. Then you chant the name of Amitabha. Then you purify your speech. And you say, Grandmaster, good morning. And Lien Qi, Venerable Lien Qi, every time I drive into the tantric quarter, he would say, "Good morning and afternoon, Grandmaster and Simu," because it's about lunch time. You should add Amitabha. And when you reply, you say Amitabha. And Amitabha is the same as good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, or good night. So this is purifying your speech. And you chant, and eventually, actually, every morning I get up, I do the exercise of my ears. That's the ear drumming. I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Amitabha. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Amitabha. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Amitabha. So I do it 70 times, drumming. So I have done it. Every morning I do the ear drumming for 70 times, and I have chanted Amitabha 7 times. So that's pure body, speech, and mind. The way to purify the body, speech, and mind. Second point, question. Second question. In the supplication verse to the lineage root guru, there's a verse in quote, with reference, I make my purified body, speech, and mind an offering to Mahavairukana. And you also mention in your book about offering body, speech, and mind to the root guru in Yidam. My question is, how do we make offering of our body, speech, and mind? Just now, we made offering. As long as you transform your body into the Yidam, and your mind is on the Yidam, you're mindful of the Yidam, and your mouth is chanting the mantra of the Yidam. That's offering your body, speech, and mind, the purified body, speech, and mind, as an offering to the Yidam. Once your body, speech, and mind are purified, then you are the Yidam. Then you offer to yourself. Because you are the Yidam already, so you offer to yourself. That's the second question. Third, I often hear people say that certain people were born prohibited from eating beef, otherwise it will affect their studies and many obstacles, etc. Some said that people who worship Avalokitesvara Kuan Yin cannot eat beef, else there would be many bad influences. Is this true about eating beef? Why? Asked by Lianhua Xianting from Taiwan about eating beef. Anybody not eating beef here? Please raise your hand. 2. Several people don't eat beef. When I was in Taiwan, I heard people say why they don't eat beef. Because they are grateful to the cows. Because in the early days, Taiwan is an agricultural nation. So the farmers raise cows to plow the fields. And the cows already suffer hardships in the farms, so they truly respect the cows. They are like close members of the family. So the cows work very hard in the farms, in the fields. So therefore, in the early days, Taiwanese farmers don't eat beef. Some people also don't eat beef because of certain reasons. Some after they become Buddhists, or they think that cows work so hard. Many other reasons. Like asked by Lianhua Qingqing. No, not Lianhua Qingqing. Asked by Lianhua Xianting. Most importantly is not to kill. For Mahayana Buddhists, they don't eat any kinds of meats. They are vegetarian. Many people are vegetarians. So they are training the mind, the Buddha nature. They don't eat meat. Many people don't eat meat. The primary reason is for compassion and not to kill. Because of the 5 precepts, not to kill, not to steal, not to have improper sexual conduct, not to lie, and not to be intoxicated. The 5 basic precepts. In Tantrayana, we don't have such rules that we have to refrain from eating meat in Tantric Buddhism. For the exoteric Buddhism, for the Hinayana Buddhism, are mostly in Southeast Asia. For the Mahayana Buddhism, they spread to the Middle Kingdom, China area. And then from the China region, it spread to Korea and Japan. That's for the Mahayana Buddhism. For Vajrayana Buddhism, it spread primarily to Tibet. And in ancient Tibet, it was high up in the mountains. They were all shepherds. They raised cows, sheep, and others. Animal forms. And they are nomad tribes, nomadic tribes. Very few are farming in agriculture. Therefore, it's extremely difficult to have only vegetarian food. Therefore, in Vajrayana, authentic Buddhism, there is no rules to be a vegetarian. But there are nowadays lamas who are vegetarian because eating meat causes them hypertension and arteriosclerosis, heart attacks. Will cause heart attack. So heart attack and stroke. How do you say? She said, it sounds like eating meat. Stroke. So, like brain hemorrhage or blockage in the brain that cause stroke and heart attacks if you eat too much meat. Therefore, many lamas nowadays, they are also vegetarian. Or some are vegetarians, some also eat some vegetables. Grandmaster does not set any rules that we have to be vegetarian because we belong to Vajrayana. And In Vajrayana, primarily, we have inner tantric practices that we have to ignite the inner fire, to increase the light drops. We have to enhance the inner fire. So in our diet, according to Master Thupten Dorji, which told me, in order to increase your light drops, you have to eat chicken balls. Chicken balls. They would increase your light drops. And he also said, in order to ignite your inner fire, you also need the ingredients for the inner fire. You need to have the resources. You have to have the power. In order to enhance the inner fire. But we all have to pay attention to your health. So in Vajrayana, there are no rules about what you eat. So the question, why? Those who worship Avalokitesvara cannot eat beef. I think it's because related to Mahayana Buddhism. Because most Mahayana Buddhism, they apply the 5 precepts not to kill, not to eat meat. Those are just local custom. And after eating beef, you cannot study well. Those are local customs. After eating beef, that your political career will also not go well. These are all local customs in Taiwan. But as a Vajrayana practitioners and you want to be a vegetarian, it's okay. I welcome you. But if you're not vegetarian, it's okay too. We will not force you. But with respect to inner tantric practices, for at least a period of time, you need the fuel or ingredients for the inner fire and light drops. And as for myself personally, I'm neutral. Every day I would set to eat 3 kinds of vegetables. I also eat meat, but in Tantrayana, the most crucial point is whatever you eat, meat and all, have to be offered first. Not only they have to be offered, they have to be delivered, bardo delivered first. Bardo delivered. The meat that you eat should be bardo delivered in order to avoid karma. So Grandmaster's personal opinion is I don't specifically reject meat or not, but whatever I eat, I will definitely offer first and bardo delivered first, because even vegetables are also living beings. because they also grow and life. The vegetables, the vegetations are also living beings. I said there was a scientist, Qiao Benjian. He placed a cable on a tree and hooked up to an instrument with a needle, which is sweeping all across, and the other end of the cable is on the tree branch, and then he cut the branch with a knife, and then the needle moved really fast, so it showed that the tree could feel it, could feel the pain when you cut its branches. A Japanese scientist, he used an instrument to test the plants if they have any response when you do something to the trees. When you cut its branch, that it showed that they could experience some pain. So the trees are living beings, and the vegetables also lives. Sometimes you pull them all out and then you wash them, and then when you cook them, you know, maybe they cried out, you just didn't hear it. Yeah. And you buy vegetables, and you think they're vegetables, and you cut them. and they are crying out. Oh. So even vegetables have lives. Actually, the 6 rebirth realms, now the scientists say there are 8 rebirth realms. The plants also part of the rebirth cycle, and the minerals. Even the minerals have lives. They have magnetic fields. They create magnetic fields. When you cut a block of mineral into 2, then the magnetic field would be chaotic and changed. Therefore, it doesn't matter what we eat, we have to barter deliver them. That's my opinion. About the questions asked by Lianhua Xianting. Those who worship Guan Yin don't eat beef. Or when you eat beef, you don't study well. Or your career is obstructed. That's not always the case. Is that the case? Simu's one of the nephews from kindergarten until now he got this doctorate degree. He got a PhD. He's always first in the hardest class. From kindergarten until doctorate degree, he's always first in class. Now he's at Caltech. It's the first college for electrical engineering. The first leading college globally. globally. And he does eat beef, so. What? Now he's attending the competition to become one of the 20 top best people in the world. He's competing to become the top 20 best people in the world. That anyone that has a PhD, he's asked to by his professor. Now let's talk about Lamdre. Although now there's coronavirus, he would graduate in December. He was going to graduate in September, but because of the pandemic, he's graduating in December. He's graduating first. And he eats beef. So don't learn from Grandmaster. Grandmaster stayed in class twice. And on Lamdre, the guiding path of the channel seeds divided into three. The guiding path of ordinary characters, second, the guiding path of the 14 characters, and C, the guiding path of the inconceivable characters. So channel seeds are the same as the mantra syllables or characters. The first one, the guiding path of the ordinary characters, the verse, upholding the channels, etc., 3 branches, etc. End quote. Of this, the one upholding the channels is minor, gathering and assimilating the mind qi at the channel knots of the fine channels, and give rise to the 3 spiritual experiences. The 3 branches refer to the body merging into the 3 branches. The first, etc., quote, etc., means the major upholder of the channels, which is gathering and assimilating the mind qi at the channel knots of the 3 channels. The latter, in quotes, etc., implicitly refers to the cliffs. Among the 3 spiritual experiences, the body enters into narrow cliffs. The verse, end quote, greed, anger, and the remaining 5, end quote. The so-called the calm mind, qi, etc., assimilated into the home character at the heart area on top of the 5 poison seed syllables naturally continue to generate the afflictions of the 5 poisons. Also, by seeing the arising of the other continuum, one encounters the elimination of the signs of the 5 afflictions. One sees the destruction of the poison of greed, the elimination of the fire of anger, the removal of ignorance, demolition of the arrogance mountain, and the resolution of the bondage of jealousy. Supposedly, one thinks earlier it is said that the mind chi gathers and assimilates into the 5 vowels area, then one sees the Tathagata body. Our body, in tantric practices, we talk about channels. Of course, the channels are related to the qi, or to the wind, or to the breath. Qi is the same as wind. And the channels are also related to the water and fire. And water is the light drops. Fire is the inner fire, or tumo. And the qi is the wind. When we talk about opening the channels, the channel knots, what are channel knots is where the channels are not open and flowing, or where the channels are turning. It's called the channel knots. According to Tantrayana, the 5 poisons are greed, anger, delusion, doubt, and arrogance. These are the 5 poisons of our human life. And the 5 poisons sometimes arise because of the channels. If all the channels inside your body are open and flowing, because the 5 poisons are related to our channels. If they are all open and everything moving smoothly, then everything would go smoothly. If the channels are blocked, then your body does not feel right, will not go smoothly. Then you would feel anger or hatred. That's the key reason. Greed, anger, delusion, doubt, and arrogance. That's the key point in this excerpt. All of those 5 poisons arise because of the channels. Upholding the channels, 3 branches. Actually, the 3 branches also have channels. You change your body to become a tree. When water flows in the channels of the tree trunk and then to the 3 branches, to the leaves, to the channels inside the leaves, then the water becomes nutrients. Your body would be the same as the tree. Like we just said that the tree also has lives. So your body is the same as a tree. That's what it talks about. Upholding the channels, etc., 3 branches, etc. So what it meant here is when you practice your channels, it would be the same like a tree drawing the water up to the tree. It's the same. Of this, the one upholding the channels is minor. And the mind qi is at the 3 branches refer to the 3 branches. This is all implicit. I've said this. Sometimes I visualize my body, that my whole body is one channel. Did I say that before? Yes, I have. At first, originally, the channel is like this. It's like a straw, a wheat straw, very tiny. And then you can visualize it to be as big as your body. You visualize the 72,000 channels to be one central channel. So channel knots. It's like cliffs. Very narrow cliffs between two mountains. It's blocked. You cannot pass through. So it's as if your qi is being squeezed and your light drops, your inner fire are all being squished by the cliffs. And those are called the channel knots. So it's related. So when you practice your channels, you want to make your channels as large as the sky. Eventually to be as large as your body and then as expansive, as vast as the sky. Then your qi and your channels would be flowing very smoothly and open, wide open. So the three spiritual experiences would be like the body entering into narrow cliffs. So that narrow cliffs are the channels. And the tree branch or tree trunk the same as the channels, or to represent the channels. And the verse in quote, greed, anger, and the remaining 5. So greed, anger, delusion, doubt, and arrogance. So it said, if the so-called calm mind or qi assimilated into the home character at the heart area on top of the 5 poison 6 syllables, naturally continue to generate the afflictions of the 5 poisons. Also, by seeing the arising of the other continuum when encounters the elimination of the signs of the 5 afflictions, one sees the destruction of the poison of greed, the elimination of the fire of anger, the removal of ignorance, demolition of the arrogance, and the resolution of the bondage of jealousy. So this is how you destruct the 5 poisons, because the channel knots would create or generate the greed, anger, delusion, doubt, and arrogance. In order to destroy these 5 poisons, is you want to untie or to open the channel knots. Once they are open and flowing, then you can resolve all the 5 poisons of greed, anger, delusion, doubt, and arrogance. So they use they use analogy here. They use a metaphor. Supposedly one thinks, earlier it is said that the mind qi gathers and assimilates into the 5 vowels area, then one will see the Tathagata body. This is contradictory to the arising of the 5 poisons at the same area. Actually, it's not a contradiction. The 5 poisons and the 5 wisdoms, are they contradictory or in compliance? They are both possible. The 5 vowels would generate the 5 poisons, but the 5 vowels also destroyed amidst the 5 poisons. That's what the Guru taught me. So the 5 vowels can destroy the 5 poisons, but at the same time the 5 vowels can also generate the 5 poisons. They are all depending on the channels. The pure ingredient of the 5 ambrosia generating the body of the Tathagata and the phenomena of the 5 poisons, greed, anger, delusion, doubt, and arrogance generated by the accumulation and assimilation of the wind qi and calm mind to differ in their essence. Don't be so fixated on the wordings, otherwise you will never understand what is meant there. They did it intentionally. I heard the Guru, they try to embed it to make it so fussy that you don't understand. That when the channels is open and flowing, that what you originally have, the greed, anger, delusion, doubt, and arrogance will decrease naturally. But the 5 nectars will give rise to the 5 poisons. But the 5 nectars are the same as the Tathagata body. So the 5 poisons and the 5 nectars are the same, are equal. So according to the interest of Tantrayana, because you have 5 poisons and you eliminate the 5 poisons, you would be able to see the body of Tathagata. Like inside our human body, we have the 5 poisons, therefore we will not be able to see the Tathagata. And once you eliminate the 5 poisons, you would be able to see the Tathagata. Now do you understand? Now you would be clearer. It's already 1 hour 20 minutes. This is the guiding path of the channel seeds. This is very profound and very detailed, very convoluted. So the writer did it intentionally, and the translator, the Chinese translator, was also. And what are Tathagatas? Tathagatas are the greed, anger, delusion, doubt, and arrogance. And once you eliminate the greed, anger, delusion, doubt, and arrogance, you would be able to see the Tathagatas. Do you understand? So, the anger, greed, delusion, doubt, and arrogance are the Tathagatas. But once you eliminate the 5 poisons, you would be able to see the Tathagatas. So, according to the Yogacara teaching, that all the Buddha natures embody the greed, anger, delusion, proud, doubt, and arrogance. So you smelt, you purify the 5 poisons, and then so amidst the very narrow channels, they all include the 5 poisons. And once you open it, you widen it, and when it's moving smoothly, then the 5 poisons would be eliminated. Then you would be able to see the Tathagata Garbha. Like what we said before, like minerals. If you want uh, to extract the gold from the ore, the gold ore. So that's the 5 poisons: the greed, anger, delusion, doubt, and arrogance. Those are the ores. But once you can extract and refine it, then what you get is 999.999 gold. So that's the process. So you use the empty nature, the Buddha nature, and the Qi to extract it, to process it. Then you can eliminate the 5 poisons, and you would be able to see the Tathagata. That's the key meaning. Otherwise, the wordings are really, really too horrible, too foolish. So even if we ask your smartest nephew, he's best at his studies, to read this, he would not understand anything. Even from kindergarten to the doctorate degree, he's one of the 20 smartest person in the world. He will not understand a thing reading this excerpt. Every time he takes an exams, he would wear my T-shirt with my mantra. Now with my explanation, you would have a good idea, right? So the anger, greed, delusion, doubt, and arrogance, they're also part of the mineral ore. They're all mixed together. So you have to extract, or you have to eliminate those 5 poisons, then what's extracted would be the pure gold. That's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum.